Well, hello everyone, and a warm welcome to Lord's podcast. And you are here with your host, Gifty. The guest that we have today here is a very special guest because he's my former student. And I would like to say one thing about him that he does not have the word stop or barrier in his dictionary. Because whenever he was done learning one thing, he will step on to next thing. He want to be the master of everything, or maybe he just enjoys everything. So please, I want you guys to welcome none other than Mr. Tanwa here.
Hello there. Hi.
All right, Tanwa, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. It's been a very fun few weeks since my school's over.
Right. So when your school's over, what are you actually doing now?
Well, of course, since it's me, it's mostly game design, homework, and playing a few games myself.
Right, and also would like to mention here, Tanwa is only 14 years old. Am I right? And Tanwa is a student who actually has done a lot of game development in Roblox, Unreal, Unity. Now, Tanwa, we'll talk about all those later, but maybe the very first question that I have in my mind is that what kind of games you play, or what kind of games someone should play so that, it can lead them to, design games or get into game development?
Well, I think the easiest way to touch on that and link it to game design in general is to discuss where my passion for game design really came from. When I was a kid, I wasn't allowed to have any games. So when I got my first laptop, a loophole I found in the system was, what if I make the game myself and then none of my parents can stop me from playing games? And that eventually led me down the rabbit hole of creating games and actually getting to play games in, my early teenage years. So the games I would recommend to anybody in general would be games like Red Dead Redemption or games with a great story. Because honestly, games are a way you tell stories in general. So I'm not one to recommend you multiplayer games because gameplay is only a part of a game. You need to have a story that really resonates with the player themselves.
All right. And you said Red Dead Redemption, right? So why do you think Red Dead Redemption is actually, I have played it, obviously. Red Dead is a very good game. Hands up, right? Hands down to that game. It's pretty good. What exactly you like in that game? Because some people complain that it's very slow, but I really enjoy. What about you, Tanva?
Well, the thing about Red Dead Redemption for me is it's a game I hold very near and dear to my heart. Like it it brought me entirely into the cowboy genre of games and media. And I think that was all because of the story. You know, it's by the name, it's a story about the main character redeeming himself for the past actions he's committed. And I think that's something that's very relatable to many people because we all have our flaws, and Red Dead Redemption does beautifully is show that the main character, Arthur Morgan, has flaws, and eventually through time he slowly changes himself. That's if you play the high honor ending.
All right. Exactly. Right. So you mentioned Red Dead Redemption is something, and story games, I personally believe that are something that will actually help you to understand more about game development. I really agree with Mr. Tanva here. And what I also would like to ask you, I saw that you have worked on different platforms, Roblox Studio, which is or Roblox game, Unity, Unreal. I would like to ask you, which platform is actually your favorite platform to design video games?
Honestly, first things first, I'm just gonna say I don't really like Unity. Especially with the new API changes, it's just not something that I really think is worth investing too much time into. But for me, I personally believe that, you need to look what you want from it. Like Roblox Studio, you can get into it very easily. The toolbox is massive. You can do whatever you want and create whatever you want quite relatively quickly and easily.
Right.
But then with Unreal Engine, sorry about that, it's much more high tech. It's more of a powerful engine. Like what you can achieve in Unreal Engine is breathtaking, but at the same time, it's quite hellish to create.
All right. Tea's very good. You want to recommend something on the tea?
Yes, it's a very good milk tea.
Right. We heard that Roblox Studio is something that is good for beginners. Unity is something that is actually they have to improve a lot if they want to stay in the market. And then we have Unreal Engine. Right. So I know personally, I know some of the projects that you have worked in, and I'm very happy that I was part of some of the projects. So I want to know, like, what game is the best game what is the best project that you have worked on, or the best game that you have worked on?
It's undeniably the Stellar Union series, which I had to sadly, give it a bit of a hiatus, because, Stellar Union was, the game I worked the hardest on, but at the same time, as I was creating it, it was quite a learning experience. So it was a lot of trial and error in how I created it. And that means there's a lot of issues and bugs in it, which me and my friends are trying to go back and solve. But at the same time, Stellar Union and all the games in that series, there's actually a really long story and lore behind it, which I absolutely love. I've written like multiple pages of like story for those games, and I would really love to revisit and just finally flesh out the entire game, since I feel like I really want to share the story with,
Right. And I hope you don't mind if we put a trailer later on in the podcast, right?
I will have to remake that trailer real quick, but yes, completely.
Right. So, Tanwa, you said you like Roblox. We talked about Unreal, Unity, but apart from this, what other knowledges we need to get into the software? Like, does math helps? Does Blender skills? Of course, for our viewers, Blender is a software where you design 3D models. And what do you think about this software, Blender, or subjects like math or physics? Are they important in game design or game development?
What I believe about that is that it's undeniably quite useful to know physics and maths and all that, but it's not mandatory. Like, if you want to get into it, I think the best skill you can have is the ability to not give up and to improve on your mistakes. Because outside of Mr. Gifty's class, I learned game design in Blender completely on my own. And it was a really good experience too. Mr. Gifty's teaching was absolutely amazing, and it really got me on the right path. But the thing is, I say you can do anything in game design or in anything in general with enough perseverance, especially because these days there is so much YouTube tutorials, and you can always go read the document about that specific program.
Perfect. That is coming from a 14, am I right, 14? That's coming from a 14-year-old student that, yes, I think that's what I said, that he does not have the word stop, barrier, or you see, he has words like never give up in his dictionary, right? So we were talking about Blender, and as I know that you also know Blender, right? Blender. So what is, can you like tell our viewers what is Blender, how they can use it? Or I know you have used some of the Blender skills to design like the gun models, right? So you can share a bit about Blender here and how you use Blender in the game development.
Yeah, the special thing about Blender, which sets it apart from other 3D design softwares, is that it's almost completely a non-profit organization. So Blender is based on the community of 3D designers that are based around it. So you can go on Steam, you can completely get it for free. No trials, no subscriptions, no premiums. It's just there for you to use. It's kind of like a gift to the community of game designers and modelers. And it functions completely similarly to like industry standard things like Maya
Yeah.
and other things. And there's also a booming market of plugins and add-ons for it, which is completely amazing. Like, using Blender is quite easy in relative fashion. You just have to learn the basics, and from there you can slowly go into which side of Blender you would like. Because there's many, many ways to use Blender. You can use it as a sculpting tool in case you want to do character models. You can use it as a modeling tool, like standard for more blocky items like guns or weapons of other sorts.
I will get to that part as well.
That also includes cars. And if you want to use it to texture, that's also highly possible. It's also a very good tool for animating, which is my personal most big usage of Blender.
Right. And talking about, I know you have, you're fond of games, you're fond of making games, fond of making projects, but I also would like to share here that I have taught you for how long? Maybe 3 years, 4 years?
Yes, 3 to 4.
And what I also found out that you love guns. I mean, it's nothing bad about it. You can be fond of anything. And he actually knows in detail about what gun model is it. I don't know the names actually. He knows the name of the guns, how many rounds you can put in there or whatever. So may I ask you where that come from? How do you know so much about guns? Do you have a encyclopedia?
That liking mostly comes from, I think, a conversation I had as a child with a friend. I was watching one of those movies where the main character has a katana.
Okay.
And then he starts swinging as the enemies are shooting at him, and he just slices through all the bullets.
Wow.
And then I was talking to my friend. I said, yeah, that's why I like swords so much. And then my friend, he said, you can't do that in real life, right? So that's kind of the first stepping stone. And it's just changed to this moment where I'm more interested in the history and how the gun works on the inside. So that's why I care so much about like how it's animated, how you move to reload it, or how many rounds it fits. Because, it's really interesting how the people who created these actually came up with them. And I kind of find it a disservice to just, shove random statistics in there. It feels like you're defacing some kind of invention that has been made quite a long time ago.
Right. I really like that point that you want to know the history about it. Right now, we are in a world where I think the students or even older people, they don't want to know much about history. They are more into technology. They are more into, we have cemented our footsteps into world of AI. But I love that part that you like, you are into the history of the guns. Now, I have a few more questions, so I'm going to look at my phone actually because I noted down a few questions that I want to ask you.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, this is something really good. Now, some of the people, they already have skills of game development, but they are not able to make good games yet. What do you think is the exact process of designing a game? Should they go alone? Should they have a team with them? What do you think about it?
I'm just going to say the first point is you can go with a team or alone. That's completely fine. It's up to you. But I found that working in a team is much better than alone because the thing with indie games is when you work alone, there's only one of you. You can't stretch yourself to cover all the aspects of a game and do it 1000% well. That's just impossible. So I prefer working in a team since I'm not a person who's been lucky enough to be skilled in everything yet. So what do you call it? Your teammates will fill in the blanks of what you're not good at. So you get a cohesive game that plays well, that looks amazing, and that operates without bugs. And I'm not saying that an indie game doesn't have that, because throughout the times, we've seen some amazing indie games, with the likes of Undertale and all that. But, you are able to achieve much more with a team, in my opinion.
Right. Perfect. Now, great. I think you talked about how they should work on the games, how they should do the project management. That's pretty good, actually. Now, just a bit of like, I know you have done coding. Can you share like what kind of coding languages you did, how your coding journey started, or what do you think is the most important coding language that one should actually learn?
Well, that's quite a hard question. I've learned many coding languages, C++, C Sharp. I've learned a tiny bit of Java. I've
Hope
learned
you don't forget Lua.
I always have Lua. I got Python, and I have a tiny bit of HTML at the same time. For what I think is the best, there is really no definitive best, because if you want it to be easy to code, definitely you can go for Python or Lua. But then there's also the other side of the spectrum, where if you really want it to perform 100% well, there's, what do you call it, coding languages like assembler, which is absolutely torturous to code in, but at the same time, it operates on any machine perfectly.
Right. Perfect. Maybe I will ask a lot of questions about, the games and game. Just want to ask you, you're 14-year old. How do you manage your time? Like, how your time management looks like? I would like to know, like, what time you get up. Maybe some of the viewers want to know how they should manage their time.
So, what do you call it? In truth, my time management is a tiny bit inconsistent. It honestly depends what my goals are at that time and if it's a term break or not. If it's really a day where I go to school, of course I need to wake up and go to school like normal, because of course school is important. Please stay in school, kids. And when I get home, it's just a split regimen of what is most important, because I usually have longer group projects in my school. So I would allocate, let's say, an hour to just relaxing, maybe a bit of working, and then I just spend however long it takes to do the work until it's done.
Right.
Then after that, if I still have time before I go to bed, I just either relax more or obviously code and work on games like that.
Right. So coding, and this is just your hobby to relax. It's under your relaxation time. Right. So I got that point as well. Now, nowadays with Gen AI is there, YouTube videos are there. What do you think? How big of a role of a teacher is in the life of a student? Or maybe one day you are, guiding your friends. How important it is to get guidance or get a coach in your life?
I think like being a mentor and being a teacher, that's one of the only jobs AI can't fully replace. There's just something different about being taught something by another human being, being, what do you call it, led through slowly, that AI cannot achieve. AI can't walk into a room, speak, make jokes, and, what do you call it, operate the same way a human does. There's something kind of beautiful in that, because we humans are almost completely random, impulsive, due to everything inside our brains. And I don't think AI will ever truly replicate it in any similar scale.
So we already talked about some of your projects, some of the studios that you use for making it. But I would like to know that how do you get ideas for the game, for new games? What's your process? Like, you sit down, you go on a mountain. What's the idea of how you get the ideas of your new games?
Most of my game ideas are quite spontaneous. I actually have this long document of like game ideas, which I'm slowly going through and ticking them off on. Usually, it's mostly because I will be watching some piece of content. For example, Genshin Impact or any other piece of content, and I would think, what if the military was involved?
Oh, wow.
So it's basically led to the point where Operation Hades, the first part of Stellar Union, is based on this show called Owl House.
Mhm.
In which basically the culmination of that game was that I was very interested in the show Owl House. And then I thought, right, what if there was like an entire division of soldiers and like a paramilitary group that would try to stop things like this from happening, try to stop people like this from ruining the world or causing chaos like this. So it usually comes from something like that. And my most recent game, Hypothermia, Frostbite, and Showcasings, which is still not out yet, the idea came from two things. My school show this year is Frozen.
Frozen. You turned Frozen into a military game.
Yes. And the game got some black powder on Roblox. So my brain kind of melded those together to create a story. And then from there, I just kind of started creating the content for the game.
Right. I'm happy that you haven't watched Baby's Day Out. Otherwise, you would turn that game also into some military game. Right. So, being a gamer, being a game developer, GTA 6 is coming out soon. Soon, hopefully 2025, they are saying. But what do you think that what do you expect from GTA 6 this year?
First thing I'm going to say, I'm not a person who plays GTA games. I don't really enjoy that genre of like committing mass amounts of crime. I believe that GTA 6, I'm hoping, just as a person in the gaming community, that it actually lives up to the expectations. As long as it delivers the promises it's promised to the community, I'm completely happy with it. Like, I won't actually play it, but as long as it's a game that actually delivers on its promises, I'm fine with it existing. Mostly because, as a person who's played Cyberpunk once in a while, I've seen the level of bugginess in that game. Like, what do you call it? I want GTA 6 to be in a situation where it launches as a functional game. Like, I don't want it to be buggy or messed up, because I feel like these days gaming is becoming less creative and they're just repackaging games. For example, the Call of Duty series, they've been doing the same game over and over every year. And I just want GTA 6 to be something new and innovative, because honestly, the open world game genre is dying out. Starfield was a mess, and the last good open world game was Red Dead Redemption in my mind. So I want GTA 6 to kind of be a jumping pad to revive the open world genre.
And also, what are the things that you would like to see in the game? Is there any specific, or you are not looking forward that much to the game?
I'm surprisingly not looking forward to that game too much. The only reason I might play it is to check out other weapon animations, just to see if they've actually made it accurate, because GTA 5's animations are in the middle.
Also, I actually forgot that I should actually say this in the beginning of the podcast, that Mr. Tanva is actually in our school where we teach coding. Mr. Tanva was winner of every presentation. It was a record, I think 6 presentation. You won the award again and again, right? And also then you won the Roblox competition. You
second place.
Second place, but I think it was a tough competition. And your counterpart, we will be inviting him as well. Do you have any special message to your counterpart?
No, I think the time he tried to make a FPS game and then had to quit because my weapon designs were a tiny bit better, it speaks for itself. No disrespect, Prodigy, you're great.
Right. I love this healthy rivalry that you guys had, and I really love it. Now, this is something that I will ask every gamer. Imagine you have all the time you want, you have all the snacks that you want next to you. What are those 5 games that you would like to play? Spend your time, enjoy them. Any top 5 games that you would like to play?
I'm just gonna take this to say that I truly enjoy games much more when it's with my friends. So I love to huddle around together with my friends and play a few games. I think the top one that I'm looking forward to right now is the Space Marine 2 game. It sounds absolutely amazing from my friends' reviews and recommendations. And I just want to get it and play it with my friends because that might be an amazing experience. Another game that I think I'm kind of looking forward to playing is, what do you call it? Squirrel with a gun. It's mostly a joke game, but at the same time, the combat looks very interesting, and it seems like a game I would love to try.
Squirrel having a gun?
Yes, I believe the story is based on a genetically modified squirrel which has a gun.
Right, okay. So you said Marines, Squirrel, and any 3 more you were...
Oh, 3 more? I'm also waiting for the re-release of Red Dead Redemption. A tiny bit of history. I believe that the reason they've never adapted Red Dead Redemption 1 to PC was because of how difficult the code is to actually understand in the first game. So the issue is Rockstar's been trying to slowly fix the game so it actually operates on PC and other hardware. So I'm really waiting and looking forward to that because, what do you call it? Red Dead Redemption is actually a sequel to Red Dead Redemption 2. And I just really want to experience that game for the first time, like how I experienced the second game for the first time.
Oh, wow. That'll be fun, actually. That's why a lot of games like GTA San Andreas and all is actually coming back, remastered versions. We saw GTA 2. Some people loved it. They said they don't want GTA 6, they want the remastered version. Right. Now, a little bit back to Roblox, because a lot of our viewers they love Roblox games. What do you think are the top 5 Roblox games? Like, just overall, not in the shooting mechanism, just overall, something that is fun. Top 5 games from Roblox. Maybe I can share mine first.
Yeah, sure. Please
Right.
go.
I think I'll go with Arsenal. I love it. It's a multiplayer game. Doors. I love... nowadays I'm playing, I don't know why, it's a game called Pilfering Pirates. It's a classic game. I love it. I think you joined me, right? I
Yes.
remember that. Randomizer. And I think I will go with the last game I would like to go with is maybe Mimic. I love horror games. I would like to add Find Your Way, but I know it's not a good game, but I'd like to add my own game as well. Right, maybe your turn now. You would like to share top 5 games.
So, my top 5 games on Roblox are actually a bit more of mature games because I kind of dislike the idea that Roblox is this platform exclusively for kids. The versatility of the Lua and Roblox engine, it's highly unmatched, and I think that, if you take your time, you can code Roblox to be anything. And my top 5 Roblox games is kind of a testament to that. So, the first of the top 5 is Guts and Black Powder. It's arguably one of the best zombie games I've ever played. It's all in Roblox too. It's completely free and all in Roblox. So basically, it follows the story of you as a Napoleonic soldier, and you're just fighting zombies. The mechanics are really well made. The gameplay is smooth and it's enjoyable. And also, it also has quite a good player base, surprisingly, as a mature game on Roblox. And another thing is that Guts and Black Powder, it's not pay to win in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't go with the Roblox trope of, oh, if you want this thing, pay me 300 Robux. As a person who, what do you call it, doesn't like spending much money on games. I just kind of hate it when the developers lock something exclusively behind a paywall. And that's why I like Guts and Black Powder. The only revenue that the devs get is from cosmetics, which are quite cheap to be true.
Which is that not essential, I feel like. Maybe people don't take about.
Yep. Yes. My second choice would be this Roblox game called Black Hawk Rescue Mission 5.
BRM5?
Yep.
Yeah, right. I think we played that game. And I think we, to be frank, pretty good game. My computer almost.
Yeah. Yes. It's one of those Roblox games which it needs quite good hardware to run, but it's absolutely amazing and fun. It's like if somebody took the game Escape from Tarkov or similar games and shoved it into Roblox with all the mechanics and everything. Currently, I have to say though, the updates are few and far between. So right now, it's still kind of unpolished, but it has a lot of potential. And if you watch what the developer team are doing, you can see that it's definitely a game that might go far in the future.
BRM5, all right. Okay, one of them. Now, I want to ask this thing also. We talked about Roblox. There's something that I always felt like, what do you think? Maybe it's almost time. Maybe let's end up on a very good and a high note. What do you think will be the future of game development? Do you think AR and VR games are the future? Because I personally have different thoughts. I really don't think so. With AI here, what do you think actually is the future of gaming? What kind of games people will like in future?
I don't believe in AI games. That's the first thing I'm going to say. Like, I don't think AI can produce the human touch to video games that a passionate developer could. So I think, especially with news like of big gaming companies replacing people with AI, I honestly kind of find it evil in a way, because you're taking away from your customer's experience. And that's what I think is most important in game design. You want the customer to be satisfied, you want the customer to feel something, to elicit a reaction, and you want that reaction to be an emotion that's, makes them either relate to the game deeply or makes them feel good. So I'll give two examples. In Red Dead Redemption, the emotion it elicits by the end of the game is hope. So basically, it's because Arthur Morgan, the main protagonist, dies by the end, and the true ending of the game is John Marston, the secondary protagonist, finally defeating the person who killed Arthur.
Michael Bell?
Yep. And it ends on that note. It's a bit of satisfaction, and it's kind of like a new beginning. And another game, which I'll use as an example for just satisfaction, would be Helldivers 2, which is a game which was recently broiled in controversy a lot. But the core mechanic of the game is just to shoot bugs and complete missions. So that's the general idea of it. You just go in, you shoot, you destroy stuff, and then you get out. It's not much depth for story, but it really satisfies the player to a level.
Right. So I think that should summarize our podcast. Tanma, do you have any last message for our viewers who are watching at us? Anything that you would like to say? Last thing?
Mr. Gifty is amazing. Thank you for him very much. And of course, if you want to get into game design, just do it. It's something you won't ever regret. Even if you fail, even if, you don't make the best game, it's all fine. Because these skills may transfer into your future. You might find a new hobby, you might find new friends. My best friend Glau was because I joined Mr. Gifty's class. So, even with any other hobby, please, if you're interested, give it a try. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But if it does, it'll really make you enjoy, and it'll really, what do you call it, move you into the future and kind of inform you about where you want to go in the future.
Right. Thank you, Talwa. Thank you so much. And also, because you came here, so I would also will be sending you. Maybe I'll add a screenshot of it in our podcast. I'll be sending you the
Please do not share.
Steam card. No, I'm going to share the our cameraman is laughing here as well. Right. So thank you so much, Mr. Tanwa. I think we are in Thailand. We should actually say bye as well, and also Swadikap.
Thank you.
So much. All right. Wow, man. Great job.